All right, so you have a big meeting coming up with some investors,
Oh, yeah.
and you need to get up to speed on Vijaya Diagnostic Center's second quarter results for fiscal year 2025.
Okay.
Well, don't worry.
Sounds good.
We've got you covered.
All right.
We dug through their financial reports and investor presentations,
Great.
and we're ready to give you the inside scoop.
I'm all ears.
So Vijaya Diagnostic Center,
Yeah.
they're the largest integrated diagnostic chain in South India.
They are.
And
Yeah.
it looks like they've been delivering some pretty solid performance.
Mm-hmm.
So just to kind of paint a quick picture for our listeners out there,
Okay.
Vijaya Diagnostic is all about offering a full range of services,
Okay.
both pathology and radiology, all under one roof,
Right.
and with a focus on, making quality diagnostics affordable and accessible.
Yeah, one-stop shop. Makes sense.
So one-stop shop for all your testing needs.
Yeah, for sure.
Now their revenue is up a whopping 31.8% year over year in Q2.
Yeah, that's huge.
And what's really impressive is that 23% of that growth is organic.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible.
So they're not just, acquiring other companies to juice those numbers.
Right.
They're actually attracting more customers
Yeah.
and expanding their existing business.
It's organically growing.
Exactly.
That's great.
So what's fueling this impressive growth?
Well, it really boils down to volume.
Okay.
They're seeing a significant increase in the number of tests being performed.
Okay.
So we're talking up 23% from Q2
Got it.
of the previous fiscal year.
So more people are walking through the door
Exactly. More people are walking through the door.
and getting more tests done.
Up 18.2% year over year for footfalls.
Okay, so more people are choosing Vijaya for their diagnostic needs.
Yeah.
And they're getting more tests done on each visit.
It seems so.
So that's a really great sign. So are they turning this growth into profits?
Well, let's see.
What does their profitability look like?
Their profitability is looking strong.
Okay.
They've got a healthy 22.9% profit after tax margin in Q2.
Right.
And their EBITDA.
Okay.
That's earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization.
Yeah.
Grew by an impressive 32.5% year over year.
Wow.
So EBITDA gives us a clear picture of their core business performance.
Right.
And it's looking good.
Okay, so they're growing.
Yeah.
They're profitable. And they're generating strong cash flow from operations.
Yes.
Sounds like a pretty solid foundation.
Yeah, very solid.
Now let's talk about their concentric circles strategy.
Okay. Concentric circles.
What exactly does that mean?
Well, essentially, they're expanding their reach both within their core markets and venturing out into new territories.
All right.
So think of it like a ripple effect.
Got it.
Okay, so they've just opened a new hub center in Ongole,
Okay.
Andhra Pradesh,
All right.
which is, right in their stronghold. And they're inaugurating another state-of-the-art hub
Oh, wow.
in Nizamabad, Telangana tomorrow.
Very pretty cool.
Yeah.
So focusing on those tier 2 cities is an interesting strategy.
Yeah.
They seem to be capitalizing on their brand recognition in those areas.
Yeah,
And strategically expanding their network.
for sure.
But are they limiting themselves to their core markets?
Not at all.
Okay.
They're also making strategic moves in new territories,
All right.
like their expansion into East India.
Okay.
They've already got 2 hubs up and running in Kolkata.
Wow.
And what's even more impressive is that their second hub in Kolkata
Yeah.
achieved break-even within just 3 quarters.
Wow, that's awesome.
That tells you they're replicating their successful model
Yeah.
in new regions.
That's a really great sign.
It is.
Shows they're not just throwing money at expansion,
Right.
but that they're doing it strategically and efficiently.
Exactly.
And then remember that acquisition they made in Pune?
Oh, yeah.
PH Diagnostic Center?
Oh.
That move gave them a solid entry point
Yeah.
into Western India.
Another market with a lot of potential.
Right, another market with a lot of potential.
Big potential.
So we've seen their growth,
Yeah.
we've seen their expansion,
Mm-hmm.
and we've seen that they're profitable.
Mm-hmm.
But how efficient are they?
Good question.
What do their operational metrics tell us?
Well, their operational metrics reveal some interesting insights.
Okay.
What's fascinating is that their revenue per test and revenue per footfall
Yeah.
have remained relatively stable.
So that suggests that they're not having to lower prices to attract customers, even with increased competition.
Exactly.
So that really speaks to their strong brand
Yes,
and the value that they offer.
it does.
So I'd highlight this consistent revenue per test if I were going into that investor meeting,
Yeah, good point.
because it's a strong indicator of
Yeah.
their pricing power
For sure.
and a good sign for future profitability.
Yeah.
Now, what else should we point out about their operational efficiency?
Well, another key metric is their tests per footfall,
Okay.
which has also remained consistent.
All right, so that indicates that customers are, on average,
Yeah.
getting a similar number of tests done
Mm-hmm.
each visit.
Right.
So it kind of suggests stability in their service offerings
Yeah, I think so.
and could reflect a good balance in their diagnostic portfolio.
That's a good point.
Now, before we move on to their financial statements,
Okay.
there are a couple of notable developments
Okay.
that we should mention.
All right.
So first, they changed their depreciation method in 2023.
Okay.
It was switched from the written down value method
Right.
to the straight line method,
Okay.
which resulted in higher PA numbers
Got it.
for fiscal years
Yeah.
2023 and 2024.
Okay.
So it's important for investors to understand that change
Yeah,
and
definitely.
how it impacted those numbers.
Transparency is key.
Right.
And Vijaya Diagnostic has been upfront about it.
Right. And then also worth noting is their acquisition of PH Diagnostic Centre Private Limited in Pune back in December of 2023.
Right.
So PH Diagnostic is now a wholly owned subsidiary.
Yes.
So its financials are consolidated into Vijaya's reports from that date onward.
Makes sense.
And this acquisition significantly boosted their presence in Western India.
For sure.
Okay, so we've covered their growth.
Yeah.
We've covered their operational highlights and some key developments.
Sounds good.
So let's move on to their financials
Okay.
and see what kind of shape they're in.
All right.
Ready to dive into the numbers?
Absolutely. Let's do it. All right. So let's take a closer look at their consolidated financial statements.
Okay.
These reports give us a much clearer picture of their overall financial health
Okay.
and how those strategic decisions are playing out.
All right, so where should we start? We've
Yeah.
got their consolidated profit and loss account, their balance sheet,
Right.
and their cash flow statement. It's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah. Let's start with their consolidated profit and loss account.
Okay.
This statement gives us a detailed breakdown of their revenues,
Okay.
their expenses, and ultimately their profitability.
So looking at their revenue from operations,
Yeah.
it's clear that they're on an upward trajectory.
For sure.
For Q2 FY25, they pulled in a substantial $1,829.5 million,
Wow.
a significant jump of 31.8% compared to the same quarter last year.
That's impressive.
So while their costs, things like materials, employee benefits, other operational expenses have naturally increased with their growth and expansion.
Right.
Their EBITDA has grown at an even faster pace.
It has.
So they're managing those costs effectively and maintaining a healthy profit margin.
Right, which is really important.
Yeah, which is really important.
Yeah.
Their EBITDA margin is sitting pretty at a solid 41.5% for Q2.
That's a good number.
And this trend of consistent and healthy margins isn't just a one-time thing.
Right.
If we zoom out and look at the full fiscal year 2024, their EBITDA margin comes in at 40.3%.
Wow. So their profitability is robust and consistent,
It is.
which should be music to any investor's ears.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Consistent profitability is a great indicator of a company's financial stability.
absolutely.
Now, what about their balance sheet?
Okay.
How are they managing their assets and liabilities?
Okay, well, let's dive into their consolidated balance sheet.
Okay.
As of March 2024, their total assets were $9,828 million.
Wow.
This includes non-current assets like the physical stuff, property, plant, and equipment,
Yeah.
as well as current assets, which are things like cash and cash equivalents.
Okay. And then on the flip side,
Uh-huh.
their liabilities are a mix of non-current and current obligations.
Right.
They've got lease liabilities, provisions, trade payables, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So how does their equity look?
Their equity has actually grown steadily over the past few years.
Yeah.
As of March 2024, it stood at $6,599 million.
All right.
So this is a positive sign as it indicates that their financial strength is increasing.
So their assets outweigh their liabilities.
Yes.
And their equity is growing.
Mm-hmm.
So that paints a picture of a company in a very solid financial position.
It does.
But what about their ability to generate cash?
Right.
That's crucial for any business.
It is, especially one that's actively expanding.
Exactly.
That's where the consolidated cash flow statement comes in.
Okay.
This statement gives us insights into how they're managing their cash flow.
Okay.
And in fiscal year 2024, they had a net cash inflow from operating activities of $1,833 million.
Wow, that's a significant amount of cash generated from their core operations.
It is.
It tells us that they're running their business efficiently and generating the cash they need to fuel their growth.
Precisely.
Now, they also had a net cash outflow
Right.
from investing activities,
Yeah,
but that's primarily because they're investing in growth.
exactly right.
They're acquiring companies like PH Diagnostic,
Mhm.
making significant investments in property, plant, and equipment.
Right, makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
They're using that cash strategically
Hmm.
to expand their reach and their capabilities.
For sure.
Now, one thing that really caught my eye in their investor presentation
Okay.
was their Doctors Connect program.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like they're putting a lot of effort into engaging with doctors.
Yeah, they are. It's definitely a key part of their strategy.
Okay.
They're hosting these various continuing medical education programs.
Uh-huh.
So CMEs both in person and online, covering a wide range of topics that are relevant to doctors.
Yeah, and it's a pretty impressive lineup,
It is.
covering specialized areas like foot and ankle diagnostics,
Mm-hmm.
as well as broader topics like the role of MRI in medicine
Right.
and molecular imaging in neurodegenerative conditions.
Mm-hmm.
They're even addressing things like infective hepatitis and hemolytic anemia,
Wow.
which are highly relevant in a diagnostic context.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's clear that they're going above and beyond
They are.
to keep doctors informed about the latest advancements and best practices
Mm-hmm.
in diagnostics.
Right. And this kind of engagement not only strengthens their relationships with doctors,
Right.
but also potentially drives referrals.
That's a really smart move.
It is.
They're building a community
Yeah.
and positioning themselves as a trusted resource within the medical community.
Absolutely.
But beyond just engaging with doctors,
Yeah.
they're also staying ahead of the curve when it comes to technology.
Oh, for sure. They have a long history of being early adopters of new technology.
Yeah, they were one of the first in South India to offer PT-CT scans
Right.
back in 2008.
That was a big milestone.
It was a major milestone.
Yeah.
And they've consistently invested in advanced technology over the years,
Mm-hmm.
from automated microbiology culture to droplet digital PCR and 3D mammography.
Right.
Clearly, they are not content with the status quo.
Uh-huh.
They're actively seeking out and implementing the latest innovations in diagnostics.
Which gives them a real competitive edge.
It does.
Allows them to offer a wider range of services.
Mm-hmm.
Increase efficiency, attract both doctors and patients
Yeah.
who are looking for, the most advanced diagnostic options.
So we've seen their strong financials,
Yes.
their smart expansion strategy,
Uh-huh.
and their commitment to both doctor engagement and cutting-edge technology.
Mm-hmm.
But how does all of this translate into their growth potential?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
And I think they've got a lot going for them.
Yeah.
But to really understand their future prospects, we need to take a closer look at their growth strategy,
Okay.
their competitive landscape,
Right.
and what all of this means for potential investors.
Okay.
Ready to dive into the final part of our deep dive?
Let's do it. Okay. So we've covered a lot of ground in our deep dive into Vijaya Diagnostic Center.
They have.
We've seen their impressive financials, their smart expansion strategy, and their commitment to innovation. But now let's step back and look at the bigger picture.
Okay.
What does all this mean for their future?
Right.
Are they really set up for continued success?
Well, they're certainly playing their cards.
Yeah.
Right. Their multi-pronged approach to growth is particularly impressive.
Okay.
They're not putting all their eggs in one basket.
Right.
They're expanding strategically in their existing markets, venturing into new territories, and making smart acquisitions.
Yeah, their concentric circles strategy seems to be working well for them,
It does.
building a dense network of diagnostic centers in their core markets
Mm-hmm.
of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana,
Right.
capitalizing on that strong brand recognition.
Uh-huh. And they're not afraid to push beyond familiar territory.
Right.
Their expansion into East India, starting with Kolkata, was a bold move.
It was.
And it's already paying off.
Yeah.
Remember, their second hub in Kolkata achieved break-even in just 3 quarters?
I do, yeah.
So they're clearly replicating their successful hub-and-spoke model in new regions.
And their acquisition of PH Diagnostic in Pune was another really savvy move.
Yeah.
Gave them a strong foothold in Western India
Mm-hmm.
and expanded their footprint in a market with huge potential.
Huge.
It's like they're strategically building a diagnostic empire,
Yeah,
carefully choosing their battles and expanding their territory.
exactly.
But they're not operating in a vacuum.
Right.
The diagnostic market is pretty crowded.
It is very competitive.
So what makes Vijaya Diagnostics stand out from the crowd?
That is the question.
What are their key competitive advantages?
Well, their integrated approach is a big differentiator.
Okay.
Offering both pathology and radiology services under one roof,
Huh?
is a huge convenience for patients.
Right.
They don't have to run around to different labs.
Yeah.
They can get everything done in one place.
Yeah, all about convenience and efficiency.
Exactly.
And that's a big selling point in healthcare.
It is.
And let's not forget their commitment to technology.
Oh, yeah.
They're constantly investing in the latest advancements,
Mm-hmm.
which not only improves their efficiency, but also allows them to offer a broader range of services.
Exactly. And this attracts both doctors and patients who want access to the most advanced diagnostic options.
So it's clear they're not afraid to embrace innovation and stay ahead of the curve.
No, they're not.
But beyond technology, they have something else that's incredibly valuable in the healthcare industry.
Yeah,
A strong reputation built over decades.
that's right. They've been around for over 40 years.
Wow.
Building trust and loyalty among patients and doctors alike.
Yeah, you can't put a price tag on that kind of brand recognition.
You can.
In healthcare, people want to go to a provider they trust,
Right.
a provider with a proven track record.
Mm-hmm.
And Vijaya Diagnostic has that in spades.
They do?
So let's bring it all together.
Okay.
We've seen strong financials, a smart growth strategy, a commitment to innovation,
Yes.
and a powerful brand built on trust and experience. So is Vijaya Diagnostic a good investment opportunity?
Based on everything we've seen,
Yeah.
I'd say they're in an incredibly strong position.
Okay.
For ticking all the boxes.
Uh-huh.
Growth, profitability, innovation, and a solid competitive advantage.
Yeah.
They're clearly a company to watch.
Well, there you have it.
We did it.
We explored Vijaya Diagnostic Center from top to bottom, uncovering their secrets to success and their plans for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you're feeling much more prepared for that investor meeting.
Good luck.
And hey, if you ever need another deep dive,
Yeah.
you know where to find us. Until next time, happy investing.